of my favorite recipes in the book. It is for cracking crackers. The original recipe that I saw for these crackers came from Sarah Britton's My New Roots, and although they were fantastic, they were also filled with oats. And oats are not a great ingredient if you're following a low carb or ketogenic diet. They're a fantastic carbohydrate, but they're not suitable for low carb or ketogenic. This is fantastic because I think the one thing that people really miss when they're eating low carb or ketogenic are things like crackers and bread. They're really savory, really tasty, delicious with butter or any kind of smoked fish pate with avocados. They're absolutely fantastic. They last about a week in an airtight container, but to be honest, they don't usually last that long. They're so good, everyone hoovers up these crackers. So one of my favorite recipes in the whole book, cracking crackers. So the first thing we have to do is put all the dry ingredients in a bowl. So we're starting off with our sunflower seeds, and we've got some chia seeds and some psyllium husks. So you'll often see these in the health food store. These are fantastic to use to sort of bind the whole mixture together because we don't have any egg in it. So you need something to keep the whole thing together. We've got some flax seeds, it's just some milled flax seed, some pumpkin seeds and some sesame seeds. And then for seasoning, we've got some dried thyme and fennel, but play around with the herbs, doesn't matter. You can use cumin, you can use whatever you like, you can leave them out altogether. And there's also quite a good bit of salt. So I'm using some pink Himalayan salt, but whatever is your favorite salt. So once we have our dry ingredients in the bowl, what we're gonna do is I've got about 80 grams of coconut oil here, and you're just gonna melt it by pouring in about 200 mils of boiling water. So instead of going to the bother of melting the coconut oil in a saucepan, just let the boiling water do the work for you. So just gonna let the heat actually melt the coconut oil. And all I'm gonna do then is pour this into the dried mixture. Now, the mixture initially looks like cement, and guess what? It's going to stay looking that way. It is not very pretty when it starts out, but you just want to bring it together. It's a cement-like kind of wet, sandy mixture, and that's exactly the texture that we're going for. So I've got a baking tray here that you just line with a bit of greaseproof baking paper, and we're just going to pour this onto the baking tray. What you do is just start patting it down and smoothing it with your spatula. If you find that it's a little bit too dry and it's breaking up and it's not actually holding its shape, you can always sprinkle a little bit of water on top, but this seems to be fine. And the main thing is that you get a real sort of even layer of the cracker, because these crackers really need to dry out in the oven. There's nothing worse than kind of getting a soggy, chewy cracker. We want these to be crisp and delicious. So if you're having trouble actually smoothing it out, then the best thing to do is get a second sheet of greaseproof and put it on top and just use your hands to smooth it out. As I said, you just want a bit of an even layer. You don't need to get your spirit level out, but you do need an even layer here. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to put them in the oven at 170 degrees. So your oven's been preheating, and we're going to cook them for about half an hour. Okay, so it's been baking for about 30 minutes, and we're going to have a go at flipping it over. You do have to be careful because the seeds are quite hot, but get your spatula, get it in underneath, and just go for it. There we go. We're going to stick this back in the oven for about 20 minutes just to continue cooking and drying out. So one of my favorite ways to serve up these crackers is with just some crushed avocado. It is probably the ultimate fast food lunch. You're just going to have the avocado and then split it in two, and then just using your knife, just cut into the stone. Then you simply twist. This will help remove the stone. Chuck that out. And then just using a spoon, just scoop out the avocado halves. And then all we're going to do is chop, just roughly, into big chunky dice, and then stick them in the bowl. A little bit of olive oil. And little bit of salt and pepper. And you wouldn't believe how tasty these are. Just give it a bit of a stir. Plate up here. So just got some mixed leaves, got the crackers. Just break them off from the outside. If you feel they're still not quite crisp enough, just whack them back into the oven again. I'm just gonna spoon some of this avocado on top. So that's it. That's the recipe for cracking crackers. And I have to say, one bite and you'll absolutely be hooked. And once you have these on standby, you can see how quick you can get a lunch or supper together with just an avocado, a few more ingredients. So a really great recipe, cracking crackers.